We need to innovate and change to be able to be responsive to the needs of people of today. We have very different situations than they did in 1960 when we said, go to community college for 2 years and then you go to a university. That's not reality anymore. Here's something most people never think about. Somewhere in this district, in our community right now, there's a student doing everything right. She's in school. She's raising her kids. She's working. She knows exactly what she wants to do with her life. And the one thing standing between her and that future is a degree that she can't get here. Today's guest was born and raised in Chula Vista. She's the first in her family to go to college. She's a single mom of 2, and she tutors students at Southwestern College's San Ysidro campus. She's studying forensic studies because her dream is to work in a crime lab and help families and victims. But to do that job, she needs a bachelor's degree, and right now there is no university close to home that offers it. South County has been called a college desert. More than 585,000 people and not one local public university. For a parent raising 2 kids here, leaving isn't an option. So the degree might as well not exist. Here's what makes her story different. She didn't just accept that. She went to Sacramento and testified for a bill to change it, a bill that I've introduced. So today, we're going to talk about what that gap costs to a real person and what it could mean to close it. I'm David Alvarez, and this is Dreaming Big, Working Hard, where we talk to the people building stronger communities across San Diego and beyond. Marilynn, thanks so much for being here. It's really an honor to have you. I'd love to share your story with our community because you come from our community. So welcome.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Yes. You have a very unique story in some way, which we'll get into, but also not so unique. It's not atypical, your story of a student in our community colleges who's working hard as a theme of this podcast is to try and give your family an opportunity. So please, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about you, where you grew up here in our community and where you are today.
Yeah, so I am a student at Southwestern College. I just graduated with my associate degree in administration of justice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. On May 29th. And right now I'm still pursuing my associate degree in forensic studies. So I do have to come back in the fall. Obviously in the summer there's shorter classes, so I wasn't able to start there. But yeah, in the fall, hopefully I finish by December. And yeah, and I'm also a senator, ASO senator for the San Ysidro campus. So I'm really close with all the staff there. And I actually started working in the pantry. And then they moved me up to being a tutor. And then from there, they offered me Crystal Arredondo. She actually offered me to be the senator for the center. And then from there, I started advocating for other students.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, San Ysidro Center is like a campus of Southwestern College, which is more located centrally in the community of San Ysidro, which is our community on the border, where a lot of students obviously are seeking to get a college degree, but they are in the border region. The main campus is in Chula Vista. And this is typical of community colleges. So you are at a satellite campus of the community college.
Yeah, it's the Higher Education Center. That is what it's called. Yeah, of San Ysidro.
And it sounds like you've gotten really, really involved. And I want to talk to you more about your involvement in the community and at the school, obviously. Are you the first in your family to pursue a college education? Where is your family from? Where did you grow up?
My family's originally from, Tijuana. And so when they came over here, they wanted us to have a better future. So in the beginning, I kind of struggled to go back to school and things like that. I did go to Chula Vista High School. And also when I graduated from there, I jumped straight into, I actually went to an adult school. And then from there, I jumped over to Southwestern College. I tried to stay there. But my family, it's kind of like a hard thing to talk about because, everybody believes that like you have to go to work, you got to have a full-time job and stuff. So it wasn't really easy for me to go to school. I am from a Hispanic Latina background. So, our culture is like sometimes it's a little different. But I believe that, with my ambition and everything, I was able to go to college, and my family was actually pretty supportive. When I did decide to go back, I did have to take about a 10-year break in between. And then when I took that break, I ended up going back to Southwestern College. But in between, I did do some vocational schools.
Let me ask you, because I can connect a little bit with the idea of where our culture has some expectations, and also the fact that we don't know, at least my parents who never went to school, didn't know what college was about. Like, why more school? You have you graduated from high school. That's a good thing. Now go get a job and be part of the family. And it's not that it's not to support more educational achievement or to be able to do more. It's just that's getting a high school degree in our case was like already a big deal. And a high school diploma, obviously, and the research shows it. Every more education that you have and degrees that you get better wages, better jobs, and that was a good thing. But it sounds like in your case, maybe a little bit of that happened too. That you maybe finished some school, and it's like, how do you contribute to the family, right? To take care of each other. Is that what was going on? And then you had to do that. And so that's what sort of not got in the way, but life happened. And then you left school. Is that what?
Yeah. So what happened was, it was that I ended up having my daughter in 2014. So I was still in my first semester of Southwestern College. And it made it really difficult for me to juggle both and then still have to go to work. And my family was helping me at the time too. So that was a little bit difficult for them. So that's why I decided to take a step back from that, because I had a daughter now. And so it was really difficult for my family to be able to, support me financially with a daughter as well. And it's not that they didn't support me; they wanted me to keep going to school, but it was really tough times.
Limits.
Limits, we had, they had also had limits, and financially, it's difficult.
Sure.
Yeah, it's
so you that happens. Life happens.
Yeah.
And then, but you, in your mind, it sounds like you knew that you wanted to get ahead, and so you said you went to other vocational schools to try, I assume, to try to get a better job. Is that what you were seeking through those experiences?
Yes. So in 2014, when I had my daughter, I had to stay at home, obviously, for a little while, maybe about a year or two. And then after that, I decided to kind of start my own business. I don't know if I had ever mentioned it, but I started working at the swap meet. I had a small business. And, that wasn't enough for me to be able to keep supporting. But the thing was that I didn't have childcare. It wasn't as easy and accessible to me as, maybe other people. So that's why I decided to kind of okay, I actually need to get a job. So that's when I started working at Burlington. I worked for a little bit there. And then I decided out of nowhere one day, I just woke up and I was like, am I going to be like this? Am I going to keep struggling, getting minimum wage and things like that? So I was like, no, I want a better future for me and my daughter. So I decided to go to pharmacy school at Pima Medical Institute. It's in Chula Vista. And then from there, it took me about 10 months to finish. So it was really tough because I had my business on the side, and then at the same time I was juggling Burlington in the mornings because I worked in the stock room. And then from there I had to go to night school. It was, I believe it was from 6 to 10 p.m. almost.
And you had a daughter.
And I had a daughter, in the middle of that. So it was really difficult, but I was able to finish it. And then from there, I started working as a pharmacy tech right away. And so then that's when I decided to, that's when I had my son after that, which was probably a few months after I graduated from.
So you had a little bit more stability with this job and as a farm tech. And so you maybe find yourself more stable, but then more time goes on. And at some point you make the decision, community college and an associate's degree is probably what's next for me. Tell me about how that realization came to you. What was the sentiment? You wanted to do more, or that was not your line of work? At some point you make a decision, I want to go back to school. You're in a stable position, but maybe not, you're not happy about it. I don't know. You how did you feel?
Yeah, I just felt a little overwhelmed because it wasn't the career that I actually wanted. I did love it though. When I did work at a compounding pharmacy, I did work at one called Levita. And that one was, I learned so many things. We learned how to make medications from scratch, like weighing powders and like making, customized creams for like pain and things like that.
Okay.
So it was really interesting journey, but it wasn't where I wanted. That career was not the one that I
So it did not
wanted
feel
to stay.
fulfilling enough for you.
Yeah, it wasn't fulfilling enough. I always wanted to do a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how much time after that did you determine and how, like, what was the moment when you said, I'm gonna go back? Because you were there for a semester and then you left, and then did you feel any particular way about, like, I was there, like, should I go back? Like, tell me about what that's like.
Yeah, I always wanted to go back. There was a couple times that I did try to go back to community college, to especially Southwestern, but financially I was also struggling around that time. So I had family and friends that lived in Arizona at the time. And so then when I decided to move to Arizona for a little while to get financially stable again,
Okay.
it worked. It did really work. But the thing was that I was far away from my family because my family decided to move back to San Diego. So then
That was all your support system.
Yeah.
And your children, right?
Yeah. So then, I was like, I don't want to be over here by myself. Like, I don't want my kids to grow up without, their grandma and grandpa and, their aunts and uncles and things like that. So that's when we decided to come back. I only stayed over there for about a year and a half back in 2020, 2021. And then from there, when I came back here, I had been a stay-at-home mom for about that whole year and a half. So I did put my pharmacy tech license because I couldn't transfer it over there. I had to do certain things to
Okay.
transfer it. So it was only here in California. So when I came back, I decided to go back to that pharmacy, and thankfully they gave me the opportunity again. But I decided, I was like, I want to do something more again.
Yeah.
So then that's when I signed up online for the Mesa College in Arizona before I moved back. So I tried, but it was really difficult with 2 kids now on my own. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna try to go to Southwestern College now. So in around
Was that an easy decision for you, or was it like, were you thinking like, okay, I was there already, and like how easy was it, or how difficult maybe was it?
It was, I was really nervous about it, to be honest, because I took a 10-year break and, having to take those science classes, the math classes, the reading, writing, for me, it was like really scary because I felt like I was throwing myself in there without, I really didn't remember the algebra. I did struggle a little bit when I first started. But when I went in there, I said, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm just going to go in there and do it.
And so you went back. I don't want to ask for age, that's disrespectful, but I think very traditionally the average age of a community college student in the state of California, and I know in California, I don't know if other parts of the country, is 28 years old. So it sounds like 10 years later, 18, you graduated from high school. It was around that time when you went back to college. Is that?
I was actually, right now I'm 32. I'm turning 31 in July. I mean 33, sorry. And when I went back, it was in 2024. So that was like 2 years ago now. So I was 30 when I decided to go back.
And so that is not an atypical situation with community colleges. I think people think of college and think, okay, go to high school, then you go to college.
Yes.
But community college students each have their own story, very much like yours. And so that is more of a common experience, right, with your fellow students, Jaguars at Southwestern College.
Yes.
That's who we encounter, right? That's who you encounter on campus.
Yeah. So a lot of the people that I went to school with when I first started in 2024, it was really nice because they actually welcomed me pretty well. And even though most of the students in the class, they were a little bit younger than me, they really did help me out when I was struggling because I did tell them, I took a 10-year break. And I was able to, make a lot of close friends there at the time. So that's how I was able to get through the difficult course because I did have to take chemistry and biology and things.
And what are the other support systems that you found on campus? Community colleges, because they serve the student population that's a little bit different, that life really has happened for a lot of them. What did you find as support systems that helped you feel like, okay, I'm comfortable here. Like this is gonna happen for me.
Yeah, so I had EOPS help me. I did. I
That's
also
like
was
a
in.
counseling service, special counseling
Yeah,
service.
it's like a special counseling program, and also they help you with like with textbooks, like for you to be able to have funds so you can buy them because they're pretty expensive. And also they also do like priority registration, so you're like one of the first batches of students that get to register for the classes a little bit earlier.
And so for someone who's a mom, I'm sure that
Yeah.
was really helpful because you need to
Yes.
get classes after the kids are at their either school or activities, right?
Yeah. So the EOPS really helped me. They did give me money, so I was also able to buy my books because I didn't know how expensive books were. You know, a 10-year gap is a pretty big one, so I didn't know. And also CalWORKs. I am part of CalWORKs, and they also have a program there through the school, and they communicate, back and forth, and they make sure that you're actually attending and you're, and they help you even more. They also do help you with books. They help you for any little thing that you might need. Like even they'll refer you if you need clothing or any food resources that you may need. And that really did help me a lot. That was one of the biggest ones.
Another good example of a California program, which we believe is important, so that individuals who may have circumstances like yourself, who want to get ahead and want to become a professional, but with all these barriers, you may not be able to. When there's little supports like this, even if they're small, like you're saying, they can make a difference. And it sounds like they made a difference for you.
Yeah, they did. They really did make a difference. All the programs there, I'm really thankful I had them. All the support, everybody was always welcoming there in every single office. Anytime I was stuck, even with financial aid, they were always really helpful, and they always answered all my questions whenever I was confused about something.
So you're at Southwestern College now. You're getting settled. You're getting the supports. You're getting the classes you need. And then at some point you have made a decision as to what your dream and your goal is educationally. You want to share about what that is?
Yeah, so when I went to Southwestern College, that day that I decided I'm just gonna do it, it was really random. I was literally driving in my car, and I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what is the next step? What should I do? Like, I want to do this, but I'm scared to do it because I don't know if I'm able to afford it or be able to do it because of my schedule with my kids. But I just didn't think. I just went to the campus. I went in there. I started asking questions. I wanted to see a counselor as well. So thankfully, they had openings that day. I talked to them and I told them I want to do forensic science. And then that counselor was like, "Oh, okay, that's
Can you
unique."
tell us what forensic science is?
Yeah, so it's basically like more science aspect of forensics. It's not only, like doing autopsies and things like that. Like normally when people hear forensics, that's what they always think about. But there's way more pathways throughout that career. There's also like ballistics and things like that. So it's more on the science aspect. It's more like lab and sciences. So that's what I want to do. That's one of my dreams.
And how did you determine, or how did you decide, like, how did you pick that?
It's kind of funny because I always watch a lot of crime videos or body cams, on YouTube, and I just found it really interesting, and then the justice system for me, it's like very interesting too, the laws and anything that has to do with laws or lawmaking, law enforcement, all of that stuff has always interested me.
So you walk up to the counselor and you say, "This is what I want to do."
Yes.
And then what do they say, or what happens next?
So they ended up helping me map out how it would look like for the next 4 years. So I was going to end up finishing in 2028 with an associate. But so I kept it that way, and I took sciences and things like that. But then I started seeing that I was struggling with the science aspect. So for me, I wanted to kind of go a little bit slower because it was difficult for me to really study a lot because of the schedules I had with my kids. So I did struggle a little bit, but I ended up going back to counseling and telling them like I'm struggling a little bit because my study time is all over the place because of the schedule I have. So they told me, oh, there's also this route we can take, and you would be able to finish a little bit faster, and you would still be able to go down that opportunity for you to work in the crime lab one day. So that's when the counselor, she was really nice, and she told me, if you do administration of justice and then one in forensic studies, since you already got most of the admin of justice classes. She's like, we could just transfer those to that. So then that's how we switched over. And for me, I still want to go down the science path of it. But I guess you could say that I kind of took like a little
detour.
a little detour a little bit. But that is my dream to work in a crime lab.
So
Yeah.
to get to your dream of doing that, I've learned a little bit because we've talked before that to do the type of work you want to do, you need to have a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
And as people know, community colleges they don't offer bachelor's degrees. Southwestern College doesn't offer bachelor's degrees. That's something that universities typically do. And so when do you find that out that, okay, I want to do this and I'm going to get my AA in forensics, but then if I want to get that job, I need a bachelor. Like, how did you find that out? Like, when did that reality come to you?
That actually happened in the fall of last year when I had to do the check-ins that I have to be doing with my counselors. I actually saw that I was almost done. So when that happened, we started looking at the next step to get my bachelor's, because I do need a bachelor's to be in a crime lab. And so I started telling her, like, oh, I saw that there's a school, but it's all the way in San Jose. And that's like hundreds of miles away from here. So for me, like, it kind of saddened me a little bit, because I have a lot of ambition and drive, and to know that it's that far and it's not around here in San Diego, where I've seen that they have the same programs here. It for me was a little bit upsetting, but that's why I really would love AB 664 to be something that is, move forward, because it would really give me that opportunity to do something here locally and in the community that I'm already in. And I really love my community. I've gotten really close with everybody here, and I know that there's other students like me as well, where they want to go down that route, but it's really difficult because the schools are outside our reach because of the distance.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Assembly Bill 664 that you just mentioned, which is a bill that I'm authoring this year, which would allow Southwestern Community College to offer 4 bachelor's degrees, which would be a very unique situation. And one of those degrees is in forensics. And so we'll chat about that in a second. I guess when you find out that in order to do that, like, does the idea of you're a mom with 2 kids, of moving to San Jose to go to school there, like, do you think about it for a second and then you just say, I really can't do that? You have a support system here. You already talked about that in your personal story. Like, how do you make that decision? Like, okay, that's not really an option for me.
Yeah, my family is very supportive of me right now. And I'm really thankful. Like, my mom, she's like, right now she's my cheerleader, right? And I have my aunts and uncles and my dad and everybody, and my stepdad, my baby sister. Everybody's really supportive of me. But when I did mention that I would have to move, it was not something that I am able to do. It would mean I would have to leave my kids behind, which is not something I ever even, like, I didn't think about.
You wouldn't consider that?
I would not consider ever leaving my kids behind. I want the best for them, and I need to be here present for them, and also support them as well. And not only that, but also even relocating financially would not be something accessible to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So while you're doing all this, you shared a little bit earlier, you're also working in the pantry, you're working with tutoring other students, you're a senator now for the college. It sounds like you've gotten really involved and active in the community. Why did you do that?
I was really nervous to do it at first because I was a really shy person. But I was like, if you don't speak up and you don't speak for things that you're struggling with and things like that, and tell your story, nobody's going to know what's really going on in our community and things like that. So I do talk to other students. I do have friends that are going to Southwestern College. They are struggling financially and everything like that. So I was like, why can't I speak why can't I tell my story? I want to be able to, you know, give my testimony of the real struggles that are happening here in the community, and especially for students as well that are trying to, be part of that workforce too. And I I was really nervous to do it. And when I finally just said, when I got the opportunity from ASO, they're like, hey, we're going to have this event. They always have events, and they go to different advocate events. And so when I started going, I started kind of putting my feet in there, and I started liking it a lot.
So your story started, very, very similar to me. Like, you started doing things to help the community with the pantry, with the tutoring. And then at some point, the light bulb turned on like it did for me. And it's like, you can make some change if you start advocating and start asking for things for the system to change. It sounds like you realize that. And boy, have you realized that, because now you've been to Sacramento. You've testified in front of the assembly committees. You've told your story. You've shared your story. I think you've inspired a lot of people. And as we heard from the response from other legislators, so you are now advocating at a whole nother level. You've also, I think, did advocacy at the federal level about the needs of students. And by the way, you're right. The needs of students, the housing concerns with students is really, really high. We have students from community college primarily, but also CSU and UC students who cannot afford to live. It's actually more expensive now to afford to live than to go to school, which is something that wasn't the case before. And proudly have some legislation to try to make student housing a little bit more affordable. I'm working on that as well. But those costs, and then financial aid, which, for students in the age out of the system, they no longer get financial aid. And so we're working on that as well. So those are the challenges that are very real. And I thank you for not just painting a picture, but telling us the real story of how it is. But that is now leading to you being in the state capitol, talking about what we said earlier, Assembly Bill 664, where you shared your story. And why was it important for you to do that? You've talked about why you're trying to be a voice, but I don't know. I'm obviously in Sacramento all the time, but I was also very, very shy. To be so honest about your story and be vulnerable is a big deal, and yet you did that. Like, how did you manage the strength to do that? Are you like, this is the right thing to do?
I feel like it's the right thing to do. I was nervous to share my story. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are afraid to share their story, and they might think that they might not even be getting heard. But that's something that I really wanted to do. And it was really nice once I was able to speak it out loud. Even right now, talking about all the struggles I've had throughout all the years, has really motivated me to keep going. So that's something that I just want to keep working on. And I'm really blessed that I've had all these opportunities, and they've come to me naturally. And I'm very glad that I'm able to express all these concerns, because I do want to change some. There has to be a change. There has to be more accessibility for many other people in the community as well. So me sharing my story, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I'm really happy I'm doing it because it is the right thing to do. And
I think you're inspiring other people, because we'll talk about a little bit more about these 4 degrees that are in Assembly Bill 664 and what we're trying to do. But there are people who are interested in those other degrees, which, by the way, are degrees that are in high demand. Like the workforce needs these types of workers with this preparation, with bachelor's degrees in forensic science and teaching English to English learners, and allied health, which is how do we manage healthcare systems. Those are 3 out of the 4 that we're looking to propose with this bill. But you've connected with other people about this, and so it's not unique. What are the struggles that people are facing as it relates to not having access to their educational goals?
a lot of it is, from what I've seen, it's normally family. They're not willing to just up and leave their family behind because they have the responsibilities. They also have jobs. They have, you know, their family to support. And also financially, it's a big struggle. Universities are pretty expensive. And so when I was looking at that too, like I was like, am I going to be able to afford to go to school for my bachelor's? But I know that I need it to move to the next step. So it was, I feel like in the community, it's the cost of living, it's really high right now in San Diego. And I know that that's one of the other biggest reasons why a lot of us were not able to keep going, because we have to pull out loans and things to keep going to school. And that's not something that we really want to do.
Sure. And at the end of the day, from my perspective, that's the whole point of education, to give people opportunities up the economic ladder so that you start, in one place, but the goal is to finish somewhere else. And that's exactly what you're seeking. You're seeking to have a more stable job with a livable, not just a livable wage, but a wage that will allow you to raise a family in a way that is more appropriate and comfortable for you and your children. And that's what these 4 degrees really are focused on. And our education system has to respond to that. And that's what AB 664 is about. We're trying to respond to realities in the community. You talked about the cost. That's one. It's much more affordable to go to a community college. But also make sure that the degrees are not just some diploma you can put on a wall, but like it gets you a job.
Yes.
That's what should be the focus. And I feel like often we've forgotten about that we talked about, college and university as just go and accomplish it, but accomplish it for what reason? The reason should be to make sure that people like yourself and everybody else, like myself, we're first generation students, to have an opportunity to enter the middle class. And it really happens through education. It sounds like that's what you believe as well.
Yeah, I strongly believe that, education is like one of my biggest top priorities. Even I express that even to my kids that are really young. My daughter is 11 and my son is 7, about to be 8. And even at a young age, like I'm influencing them, like education is really important. And like you said, for us to be in the middle class, we have to build up to those type of careers so we can get to a better financial status, because it's getting more expensive. And even for me to afford to sustain 2 kids and myself, it's really difficult. It's not easy. And let alone having to worry about having to pay school that's really expensive. I feel like that kind of unmotivates a lot of people, not just me, but it kind of makes you wonder, like, should I keep going or should I just stay where I'm at now and find something else?
Well, again, the hope is that the work we are doing in California to increase access to opportunities, a lot of the work I'm doing, our work around the university in Chula Vista, all this with Southwestern College is about making sure that if you take on that responsibility and you committed to that those opportunities are there for you at the other side when you complete. And so I want to thank you for being a good example of that, because that's the whole reason why I do the work that I do. I'm very passionate about education, and because for me, again, it gave me the opportunities to do what I do in life. And I think that should be an opportunity that everybody has, no matter where they come from. And so we're trying to do it now through Assembly Bill 664 at our community colleges, something different. It's weird, and people are, we're ruffling feathers with systems that are used to doing things this particular way.
Yeah.
But we need to innovate and change to be able to be responsive to the needs of people of today, who have very different situations than they did in 1960 when we said, go to community college for 2 years and then you go to a university. That's not reality anymore.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for that. And I also want to ask you about, you're kind of now in this journey with me.
Yeah.
We're both really hopeful that Assembly Bill 664 passes, that the governor signs it. We can't predict that, but I want you to share with me what you hope a year from now, where you're going to be at, and what's next for you.
Well, like you said, AB 664, if it were to be signed by the governor and get passed all the way through, that would give me a really big open door for my next step and for my future and my kids' future, because I want a better future for them. And I feel like it would be way more accessible for me to do it at a community college because of all the support that I would be getting from there. And I'm already familiar with Southwestern College. I've grown a lot of love for that campus. Everybody there is so like heartfelt about everything, and they're it's like a family that is there. And so
They're like it seems like they're there to like help you succeed and win.
yeah,
They're like there for you.
they're like they're like your cheerleaders for you to keep on. They want to see people do better, and they want to see people accomplish their goals. That's something that I learned a lot being with ASO and being able to see other students on campus. That's something that really is the main goal of Southwestern College, that they want you to succeed. They want you to keep going. And I feel like a lot of students deserve that opportunity to pursue the careers that they want to be in. And I feel like AB 664 would help hundreds of students, not just myself, but hundreds others that want to do specific career paths. So yeah, I just really love Southwestern College, as you can tell. I've gotten really close with that campus, and I just want to be able to help. I want to be able to help and help motivate other students for them not to get discouraged, because if we keep fighting for this, like it can happen. It's gonna happen. No matter how long it takes, like we'll get there.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're saying that. It encourages me because sometimes, when I introduce a law in Sacramento, and there's a lot of people or naysayers are like, oh, that's not, such a great idea, or like, why do you want to do that? That's not how we do things. And you're just exemplifying why we want to do this. And so I want to thank you for putting a face to something called AB 664.
Yeah.
It means something. It means something to you. It means something to a lot of other students, and we're hopeful again that happens. So a year from now, we'll see where things stand for you. We'll know sooner whether 664 gets approved by the governor. But I think no matter what happens, you're going to be successful because you have the tenacity, and you're definitely goal oriented. What would you like your children to know of where you are in this moment?
I was thinking about this a few days ago. I was like, what is my goal here? Like, what do I want my kids to learn from me? And for me, it's like, I don't want them to give up. I want them, no matter how much they're struggling, no matter what comes at them, they have to keep going and not to get discouraged. If something sets them back or anything, you have to keep thinking positive, and you got to keep going forward, and you're going to get there. If you have the drive and the ability to do it, you will get there. It doesn't matter how long it takes you. And that's something that I want my kids to learn. And they even tell me, sometimes my son comes up to me, hugs me, and he tells me, thank you for everything that you do for us. And that got me really emotional when he said that to me, because I'm like, oh, son, if only you knew, like how hard I'm trying, And I always tell them, like, no matter what happens, even at a soccer game, when he goes to a soccer game and he loses, I'm like, it's okay. It's a learning lesson, and you're going to keep going. You're going to keep thriving. You just don't let that discourage you. And that's something that I want my kids to take from my experience here, going to Sacramento, being part of the Federal Advocacy Academy, the Student Advocacy Conference, all these things, like all these opportunities. I'm not going to give up. And I want to show them that you can get where you want to be at, and you can accomplish your goals.
That's a perfect way to end it. I completely agree. You are inspiring in that way, obviously, for your children. Congratulations on all that you accomplished, but also for representing students just generally, because your story is a student story, and we do not hear those voices enough, or at least recognize those voices and all the struggles that you go to and the commitment that you have. You exemplify it really well, and I agree with you. You'll be successful if you try hard enough. That's definitely been a model for me. Thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story, and hopefully in a couple months we can be celebrating that Assembly Bill 664 gets signed into law. It would change a lot of people's lives. So, and it would have happened only because of you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Marilynn, thank you. This has been a conversation about a bill, but really it's been about something simpler. Whether a student in this community has to leave her family to reach a future that should be available right here at home. Here's what I hope you're taking away. The gap is real and it has a face. Marilynn is setting for a career that requires a bachelor's degree that she can't earn here in South County, San Diego today. And she's not an exception. Fewer than 2% of Southwestern College students can transfer in this county. When the degree isn't here, their dream stalls. But this is fixable. Assembly Bill 664 would let Southwestern College offer bachelor's degrees right here, including the forensic studies degree that Marilynn needs. It passed the Assembly, and right now it's in the Senate. Eventually it goes to the governor. You can follow where it goes, and you can make your voice heard. Marilynn is doing her part. She's working, she's tutoring, she's running for office as senator for the campus. She's testified in Sacramento. We can build better opportunities for people who are ready, like Marilynn. Help us do this by reaching out to our office at a80.asmdc.org. I'm David Alvarez. This is Dreaming Big, Working Hard, and I'll see you next time.